Good morning. Hands tied, Tyler here with another mid-month garden update. I added a second layer to my worm bin because the bottom's getting quite full. So what I'm going to do is I'll just put compost in the top now, and hopefully the worms will eventually run out of food and they'll crawl up through the holes in the top layer, and then in the bottom we'll be left with just compost. Weeds are out of control. I don't like yard work. I took a weed whacker and mowed a path here, so I can at least walk that way if I want to. Put a few pots of chaya over here. Make the area look a little better. One of those pots has a Mexican sunflower. Haven't been doing anything with these beds over here, so it's kind of overgrown with marigolds and some flowering basil, Mexican oregano in the back there. Sage is still alive, but it's not doing too well. This bed is the same thing, although this bed keeps getting overgrown with weeds and grass and stuff. I pull it, and I come back next week, and it's got tons of weeds all over it again. So I think eventually I'll have to pull all the weeds, add another layer of maybe some fertilizer and some compost, and plant some pumpkins as it gets cooler. I do have one bean plant still growing. It's growing up in this cranberry hibiscus. This bed right here is also overgrown with marigolds. One of the better things to be overgrown with, if you ask me. This bed is kind of new. So I planted, as you can see, there's moringa and pigeon pea sprouts. There's a little papaya tree. There's also a mystery seed in the middle that's either comfrey or culantro. Then around the edge should be catnip when it comes up. We'll see if it works or not. This bed, okra is doing pretty well. Looks like it's going to start flowering within the next couple weeks. Sweet potato didn't do so good this year. There's little sweet potato leaves here and there around my garden, but I think the rabbits pretty much devastated it. Like, this bed was supposed to be my main sweet potato bed, and there's some in there, but maybe it's competing too much with the chaya and the marigolds and the rabbits. This bed also not doing too much. I cleared the middle and put a row of catnip and some moringa. Catnip's not coming up anywhere, but the moringa seeds are coming up, so I'll have a lot of moringa trees over the next year. And this tree, this Mexican sunflower here, growing right next to a pigeon pea that's on its way out. I keep trimming it back, and it's growing real fast. I think this feathery weed is called dog fennel. You're supposed to burn it, and mosquitoes don't like it. There was a very hot pepper plant and that stick there. It's not doing too well. Other than that, this bed's kind of neglected as well. Some cassava, papaya, a couple of moringa coming up, lots of weeds, pigeon pea. Another new bed over here. I basically had a freezer full of old fruit, eggshells, banana peels, coffee grounds. So I dug a trench, buried it, then put compost on top. Then I planted my last little mulberry cutting right here. So that should become a nice bush. And then some papaya trees, as you can see, and there's also some chaya cuttings and some longevity spinach cuttings. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, in that one of the last beds there were some longevity spinach cuttings too. And then I covered it with various leaves, as you can see, Mexican sunflower, chaya, marigolds, cranberry hibiscus. Yeah. One of my chicks that died, I buried here, and then put some cuttings, Mexican sunflower, right here. These trees in the back are still doing all right. And this is my blue Java ice cream banana plant. It's doing okay. Just, I was hoping some pups would come or it would grow faster or something. I don't know. It doesn't seem very happy where it is. Here's my Hass avocado. You can see the bright pink new growth, which is kind of cool. And I think that's a Suriname cherry in a pot down there. I don't know where to put that yet. I got one eggplant from this eggplant plant, but didn't eat it. That's a Cavendish banana, I believe. I took one of the pups, because as soon as I planted it, it was like in real bad condition. As soon as I planted it, it leafed right out. A bunch of pups came up. So I moved one pup over there, and it looks like it's still alive, but it's not doing that well. So we'll see. What else we got? Wow, this area is way overgrown. I need to trim this. Barely tell I have a peach tree and some ginger or turmeric back there. Yeah, I gotta clean that area up. There's my main mulberry tree. It's grown a lot over the summer. Hasn't been fruiting much, but I think that's because of the heat. So I have a pot here with big old Mexican sunflower that I keep trimming. I put one cutting in the ground here. That way, once this cutting gets big, I can move this pot. Because I don't like having pots everywhere. I prefer things to be in the ground. Pots are more for convenience of moving things or selling. Over here, I've had to clear this area and dump tons of leaves all over the place several times. A neglected moringa tree I planted here. It's doing all right. Papayas are doing okay here. This back bed, when I harvested cassava, I just put tons of it in here. So now we got tons of cassava, and in the blocks along the back, just chai cuttings in almost every one. So it's almost like a living wall, like a hedge, except that it's all edible. Put a little patch here of some moringa cuttings and longevity spinach cuttings. Looks like one of the moringa cuttings may survive and do good. The other two, no. And then the longevity spinach should be okay. As long as I don't let this area get overgrown with weeds, it should be alright. And of course that patch is overgrown with various things. Pigeon pea katuk, longevity spinach, marigolds, cranberry hibiscus, some herbs that may be dead now. I don't see them. And that's another neglected bed over there. Towering Mexican sunflower. And I think this is the first bed I built right here. I'm actually underneath the canopy of this Namwa banana. Still no sign of flowering, but the pups are doing very well. Probably should have removed all of them. Just let it focus on one banana. But hey, what can you do? I think, if I remember correctly, there's one more new pup coming up somewhere around here. Where did I see that? Ah, there it is. So once that has a few leaves, I'll probably remove it, because I can't let any more pups be in this area. It's getting way too crowded. There's my favorite katuk hedge. I harvest off that so much. Yesterday I harvested half a big salad spinner basket. You can never even tell. It's awesome. So much food from that bush. Got some more katuk coming over here in the back. A lot of weeds in this bed. Right here, I tried another variety of amaranth. You can see the red is over there with the seed heads. Don't confuse it with the cranberry hibiscus. And that one actually did a little better because it's actually going to seed. I'm not sure if these ones will go to seed because they're getting eaten up by the bugs even more. And there's some cassava down there and lots of grass I have to keep pulling up. I did a lazy job with a lot of these beds. That's why they already have a lot of weeds. Longevity spinach is doing very well in this bed. I guess I should tell you that I've eaten, I think, 3 papaya from this tree this season. I have 2 more sitting in my dining room ripening, and now my second papaya tree is starting to fruit. So that brings joy to my life. I'm a little bummed that I won't get much of a sweet potato harvest this year, but I'll be ready. Next year I'm gonna set it up real nice. Alright, I suppose that's all for now. I'm gonna make another little video talking about my animal setup in there. Have a good day.